Welcome back to my Tiger model, US Navy F4U Corsair build. This is the Meng Tiger model group build put on by PapaDan and Tommy at Colonel Reb. This is what's in the box and the instructions. These are the main paints that I'll be using for this build. Starting with the cockpit parts, the motor, wheels, and the propeller, I primed everything in black Stynylrez. Painting for the Tiger Corsair, I've got the inside of the cockpit in the zinc chromate and brown for the headrest and black for the top of the dash. I've got the decal on for the dash and the seats detail painted. The floor of the cockpit in zinc chromate. I took this from the stickers. There's decals and stickers, and I took some of the stickers and cut them up to have some controls on the side for extra detail. I can't see this very well. This is the joystick. I painted the engine with some oily steel and some silver, and then black washed on top of black primer. The wheels I did in black primer, and then a little bit of oily steel or silver over the rims. And I painted the prop, the gloss black and future, and then some yellow paint brushed on instead of using the decals for these tips, yellow tips. So it's a little more detailed than I thought. It's taking a little longer, but I'm enjoying it and it's fun. The first decals went on the prop. They went on very well. I also got the masking done for the canopy. With the detail painting done, now I can begin the assembly. So I pressed the two halves of the fuselage together after inserting the cockpit. I put a drop of glue under the seat to fasten that in because it kept slipping out when I was pressing it together. This piece here was difficult to hold in place also while I was putting it together because that moves. And I glued this rear wheel on right here because it kept falling off too when I was trying to push the two parts together. Also on the back of the seat there was a little piece of sprue attachment stuck on there. I wasn't sure if that was supposed to be there or not. When I first pushed it together, the two halves wouldn't go together. So I checked the pictures on the instructions and I cut that off, and then everything fit together better. So that may be just something that a little bit extra sprue attached on the back of the seat that needs to be removed. So on to the next step. Once I've assembled the wings and the canopy, I can prepare for the priming and painting. The drop tanks and the rockets will be painted separately. Well, I've got a couple of coats of future airbrushed onto the plane, and I'm about to start putting the decals on. I got this last year at Michael's. It's a candle warmer, and it plugs in. It's got a little switch on it, and it just keeps my water hot for the decal release. Works really well. So the decals are basically on and drying now. There's one that goes on this tail fin here. I started on the other side first, and I got the decal on, but this moves, so the decal went across there in one piece, and when I tried to cut it, it folded up and wadded up into a ball. I ended up pulling it off and having to throw it away. It's kind of messed up the paint there a little bit, but all the other decals went on. The larger ones here, I had trouble with the corners, wanted to fold over. It was a bit of a struggle straightening them out and getting them in place. Lots of microsol and microset. And there's a couple that go on the landing gear here. These are what are left over. Of course, the yellow ones, that's for the propeller, and this is for the tail. I'm going to paint that on. These ones, I guess, they're not for this build. And this is the white, the JT that goes on the other side of the tail. I only have one left because I damaged the first one. They also come in stickers, but I don't think that's going to match, and I'm not going to do that. So I'm probably going to end up leaving the tail the way it is without the decal on it. The decals, all in all, went pretty well. They only need to be in the water maybe 5 or 10 seconds before they release. The only hassle I had, focus here, the decal numbers here in black, they would release and get in the way, and they'd float around, and so I tried to cut them off before I put the decal on. Other than that, they held up pretty well with lots of pulling and shoving and moving into place. But it was a challenge. It wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. So now the decals are on, and I've brush painted some yellow on the tip of the tail here and on the drop tanks. 2 or 3 layers of just the yellow paint with some Future mixed with it. It's the Minion colors, I just realized, blue and yellow. There was something I noticed on the instructions. They had the instructions here say that the black square is for a decal and a gray circle, or a circle, is for the sticker, but it's actually the other way around. I had to remark that because I use the decals, and the decals refer to these circles and the stickers refer to the squares. Other than that, everything went fine.
Yeah.